If you're just here for the Season 2 recap, go to this timecode on the screen. Otherwise, keep watching. 100 girlfriends. Now that is ambitious. With a title like that, a guy's gotta ponder the question of how one man is able to champion a periodically sized harem of 100. Is it bribery? Threats? A loophole? Is it just a joke? Or perhaps it's just a quirky title with an impossibly out-of-reach goal? Nope. Rentaro Aijo is just simply him. But everyone has their humble beginnings, don't they? Just as the story began, our main character had just gone through his 100th rejection in a row, and soon ranted to good friend A about the occasion. What seemed like a man truly fated for loneliness then approached a shrine to pray that his high school days not continue this perilous pattern of unpopularity. And here, he met the god of love. The god revealed to him that his high school days and beyond will be overflowing with girlfriend potential. Reason being, he accidentally added a couple zeros to Rentaro's soulmate count upon becoming distracted by Castle in the Sky on the TV. So he's just gotta choose one and be done, right? Only if he doesn't choose one, or rather the other 99, they will be fated to an early death. Anyway, first day of high school rolls around and our boy did the old harem stumble right into the now iconic duo of Hakari and Karane. At that very moment, the three knew that love was in the air as the proverbial shock coursed through their bodies. Immediately down bad, the two girls, after overhearing some gossip, dashed away to search for a four-leaf clover, which, when presented alongside a confession of love, would supposedly result in a definitive yes. Unfortunately, they spent the entire school day here, yet to no avail. Later, Aijo found them in that very same position. Then, one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, Hakari had confessed her feelings. And soon, Karane did as well. Things were moving fast. Maybe too fast for Rentaro, who was now forced to decide who to be the love of his life and who to send to their inevitable slaughter. Splits with indecision all nights and morning, Rentaro Aijo had made up his mind. We all know where this is going. It's both. And so, the beginning of his 100-count harem began. The next day, on lunch break, the elephant in the room was brought up. That of who gets dibs on Rentaro's first kiss. After our boy's confusing and convoluted plan for fairness was established, attempted, and aborted, the three finally landed on something that might just work, a three-way kiss. Which may have been Karane and Hakari's lesbian awakening in some form. Next, it was time for episode 3, meaning it was time for Shizuka, the mute school librarian who I theorize may be on the spectrum to some degree, who only communicates through sentences of her favorite novel, which she's memorized like the back of her hand. She instantly caught feelings for Rentaro, but noticed the obvious girls he already seemed to have, so she sorrowfully backed off, recalling her traumatizing past. An emotionally abusive mother and bullies for classmates who assaulted her with piercing words demanding her to be normal. Nobody wants to talk to a freak like her, is what she thought, until Rentaro came to see her after school hours to show her what he'd been working on in the past couple days. A digital transcription he'd done word by word of that favorite novel I mentioned earlier, alongside a special app with text-to-speech. He did this so she could look people in the eyes while talking to them. In that moment, a confession of love was professed and the rest is history. The third girl had joined the harem. Not all was right though, as Shizuka still wasn't comfortable around the others. Her lack of self-indulgence was made clear to Rentaro in a tickling punishment game meant to break the ice, where she instead only but poked him a few times. Karane noticed this as well. Perfect. Now Rentaro's scheme to leave them and let them resolve it themselves was in motion. Immediately, Karane erupted into a fuss, denouncing Shizuka for holding back while explaining they're all equals now and there's no reason to deny her true feelings. With some help from Hakari to convince her, Shizuka's fears of disrupting the group's dynamic because of her not living up to the imaginary standards she thought Rentaro held were crushed. Next up, sometime later, the spark of soulmates would yet again strike between Aijo and AI Nano, the girl whose test results and personality seemed to resemble that of a robot rather than a human. Until this fateful day, of course. After the first time, probably, going against her entire persona, would she disinfect Rentaro's finger by sucking on it. In the middle of class, she is a freak. And then, after class, she'd completely shut out Rentaro's idea that fun has any value in life, causing our boy to become disheartened and begin wondering if she truly is one of his 100 soulmates. On the other hand, opposed to her outward persona, later that night she realized how down bad for this guy she had truly become. The next day, in her quest for utmost efficiency, she attempted to reject him. Through a turn of events, though, she ended up agreeing to go on a date and let him have this one chance to convince her otherwise to hopefully accept his feelings of love he also had developed. The date location? A theme park. Did our boy succeed? Yes, though it was difficult, only with a threat to burn that day's memories, which she finally realized how important these moments were. After aggressively extinguishing the flame, she realized her ideology had been utterly shattered. Nano had fun today, and she valued that fun. Girlfriend count? 4. the all-too-inevitable pool episode was next. Footnotes: Rentaro dies, Shizuka becomes a castaway and was forced to cry out with her own voice to get her boyfriend to save her, Rentaro revives, and Rentaro helped Karane out with her chest-size insecurities. Returning back to school, it was girlfriend 5 time. In a rush, Rentaro happened to witness a red-haired busty maiden and felt the all-too-familiar badump. I wish we had a timeline for how frequent this happens. Does this whole series only happen in the span of a week? Is it more of a month? I don't even know, and I'm very curious. Anyway, because of this, later on, Aijo visited the chemistry lab but stumbled upon a red-haired child instead. She immediately drugged him up with a magnet medicine, then laced his tea with a straight-up love potion, which Rentaro hated the idea of course. He tried puking it out before convulsing, so Kusuri reversed it with a neutralizer administered through mouth to mouth. Here's the thing though, Rentaro questioned why she'd still be so mind-bogglingly cute after the drug had been neutralized, and then soon realized why. This girl, who also happened to be the third-year president and only member of the Chem Club, had failed an immortality experiment in the past which made her small for life, only temporarily reversed by her neutralizing medicine for an hour. In any case, Girlfriend 5 had been achieved. As an introductory gift, the child gave the high schoolers tons of drugs to experiment with. What? Following those shenanigans, it was time for lunch. Kusuri made everyone tea. Yeah, I don't know why anyone still trusts this woman's tea. And they're drinking it. All right. Lo and behold, it was poisoned. Not poisoned, drugged. Besides Kusuri, who was new, so she didn't quite get the whole best man to ever exist thing quite yet, the girls all drank the uncontrollable urge to kiss lover medicine, which was meant for Rentaro. And the best, worst part, it works way more effectively for women. Y'all ready for the worst zombies ever? Oh yeah, they should probably hurry and get to the chem lab for that neutralizer, because if they're like this for long, they never revert back and will exist as mindless, lustful husks for the rest of their lives. Oh shit, that didn't stop things from getting frisky more than once. Everyone had their way with Rentaro, and more so Hakari and Karane with each other. Soon enough though, the reversal medicine was achieved and the day was saved. Everyone's memories of the events were still intact though, so those two agreed to keep that Yuri moment a secret. A self-loathing, teary-eyed Kusuri made it clear she never used any drugs again and felt incredibly guilty for the whole ordeal. A Kusuri who'd driven all of the previous chemistry club members away because of situations similar to the one at hand. But of course, Chadtaro promised her it's fine to continue indulging in her favorite hobby since they'll just fix whatever mess comes about like they did today. Resident Hazard Kissage? Survived. Coming around to that final arc now, while out at the park, Hakari broke up with Rentaro, who obviously figures something is up. Turns out her mother, Hahari Hanazono, at last found out about her daughter's boyfriend being a 5-timer, and immediately had her break up with him and transfer schools. Yeah, honestly, I can't even hate Hahari here. That is a completely understandable reaction. Just hearing about Rentaro, he definitely sounds like a complete dick. In any case, Operation Save Hakari was in motion. After successfully evading their countless security guards, their dog and cats, and a Mission Impossible infrared laser hallway, the only thing left to do was opening Hakari's door, which of course resulted in an alarm being set off and the intruders being caught. Brought into the living room, Karane and Rentaro were thus interrogated by Hahari. Here the mother would explain her past. At the age of just 13, her lover fell deathly ill, so she risked artificial insemination in only middle school. During her term, her lover did pass away, and as she continued to raise Hakari, a chronic question always remained in her subconscious. Is this truly the life of joy she wanted for herself? So to avoid similar regret bubbling in her daughter, she enacted this plan. Rentaro, who was brought to tears by Hahari's depressing tale, soon had the blinding eye drops from Kusuri washed away. So the two finally made eye contact for the first time, and holy shit, it's another soulmate. And instantly, straight out of left field, Hahari Hanazono confessed to her daughter's boyfriend. Oh, this show is amazing. We need to first confirm if Rentaro's love for her daughter was true with some lie detecting. Meanwhile, a left on her own Hakari got in her own head, and soon considered a deadly jump from the window so as not to burden Rentaro any further. With Karane's help, a threat of actual murder, Rentaro was able to escape to save Hakari. He reaffirmed her waning beliefs that a life without the two of them would be the worst possible outcome. Then, finally coming to her senses, her adrenaline wore off and she tripped, forcing Rentaro to dive after her, and the two were then falling to their doom. Luckily, Rentaro's an athlete and their fountain doubles as a diving pool. Apparently. I guess that's a rich person thing. Deep fountains. Okay. I don't doubt it. This stunt doubled as more proof than Hahari could ever need, so she entrusted her daughter to him. Meanwhile, that wasn't all Rentaro had in mind. With all the chaos having died down from earlier, Rentaro finally and officially accepted her confession from earlier. MILF achieved! At last, the Rentaro family sleepover party began. This included, but was not limited to, dress-up, cards, cross-dressing, peeping, Shizuka seeing Rentaro's dick, and Hahari and Rentaro visiting the shrine of Hakari's father. Her love was conflicted. Thankfully, the Rentaro Aijo was here, who explained retaining her love from her previous partner while also accepting his is completely fine. I mean, he is the guy with 6 girlfriends who really love him. I had to fit the title in somewhere. As long as it feels real, then that's all that matters. And here, Hahari indulged in her first kiss. A kiss her previous lover had saved for someone who'd never leave her, with Aijo Rentaro. That night, he met the ghost of Hahari's previous lover, whose spirit was at last no longer bound to this earth, and was able to move on upon witnessing our main character in action today. And finally, Hakari and Karane French kissed the shit out of each other in their dreams. And now, Season 2! By the way, I'm gonna sound way different in this next season compared to the first because I changed a lot of mic settings and stuff since then. I recorded the Season 1 a long time ago because I did the recap a while ago for Season 2. But anyway, now, Season 2 recap. Let's go! We began this season with some good old-fashioned personality swapping, and yes, indeed, they took full advantage of that. After which it was lunchtime, so Rentaro left the cafeteria and reached for some food he wished to consume, but that's when a girl by the name of Kurumi also did just that, and they locked eyes. Another soulmate was upon him. By the order of fate, she had forgotten her wallet, granting Rentaro the golden opportunity to begin his food-sharing flirting with the curt middle schooler. Upon doing so, she soon opened up about her insanely fast metabolism, which often leads to her infamous cranky nature due to her never-ending hunger, and this trait is only amplified when she desires a specific food, a craving if you will, which she receives very frequently due to associating many everyday objects or occurrences with food. Note the likely noise-canceling headphones to prevent overhearing any extra cravings. And as soon as she got up to leave, Rentaro soon discovered just how fast the metabolism of hers truly works. In that moment, Rentaro asked for her name, but she was already in another quite shitty mood, so she brushed him off and walked away. Later on, Kurumi, feeling full of regret, had another craving pinging her palate, but wasn't able to find the desired menchikatsu sandwich. Luckily, she's not an Emperor of the Sea matriarch, though she was beginning to tweak out like a crackhead going through withdrawals. Until Rentaro surprised her with one made by hand, revealing his amateurish cooking skills via the bandages all over his hands and face. After which, Rentaro initiated his flirting once again, claiming she even made the simple act of eating look good because of her appreciation for the meal she consumes, spinning her supposedly cursed metabolism into the reason why she can even love food as much as she does, and why eating with her is so much fun. And the final nail into Kurumi's heart-throbbing coffin was him insisting these wonderful qualities can bring joy to the people around her. Hard cut to the roof because Rentaro was shamelessly introducing his 7th girlfriend to the family. To ease the tension and awkwardness, to break the ice, if you will, Rentaro signed them up for an eating competition where they, through their teamwork and Kurumi's continuously evolving trust in not only Rentaro but the other girlfriends as well, were able to secure victory. Following that, Kurumi kissed Rentaro for the first time. Girlfriend 7 secured. And so, in a week or so, or maybe even less than that, Kusuri and Hahari had devised a wholesome and ever so devious plan of using a babyfication potion the former had concocted to play dress-up with the latter's newly sewn baby clothes. Unfortunately, the other girlfriends were vehemently against the idea because of the ridiculously high risk involved. After all, once taken, you cannot safely return back until a full hour has passed. So, Hahari threw a temper tantrum, incurring the admonishment of her daughter. Then, to lighten the mood, Kusuri, being Kusuri, threw the potion for a nearby cat to fetch, only for it to smash on the ground and explode into a smoke of babyfication. The only ones who were spared were Rentaro and Hakari, who had to be parents for a day. During so, this happened, and also this, but most importantly, Hakari learned the difficulties of being a mother, and also the way her mother viewed her own shining ray of hope. Once they'd all turned back, Hakari apologized for her harsh words earlier upon the realization she'd never seen her mother this full of life. This right here is the repressed youth she'd missed out on while raising Hakari, now in full bloom. After that, they reached the topic of complimenting each other's eyes until finally ending on Hahari's loyal maid, who was almost always at her mistress's side, Maido, who peculiarly apparently had rainbow eyes yet never opened them because of her unfaltering gentle smile. So unfaltering in fact that they'd become sealed shut, and only through Rentaro's joking trickery would he manage to metaphorically pry them open to reveal that yes, they are in fact weirdly rainbow colored, but more importantly, that ever so familiar soulmate thump resounded once her eyes met Rentaro's. And so it was love at first sight for the maid, and she didn't miss a beat. Having immediately asked him out and all, Nano would be proud, before continuing to make sure her adopted daughter was truly making the right choice. Haha, interrupted and ordered Mei to be Rentaro's personal maid for the day. During so, he taught her that she didn't need to try to ever so desperately find a way to be useful to him, because her very existence in and of itself, the existence he loves, is all he will ever desire of her, just being alive. Oh, Rentaro, you're so hot. The next stop was, of course, say it with me, the school roof, where they'd have a maid outfit Super Soaker Battle Royale with a sloppy Rentaro kiss on the line as a reward, which Mado locked in and came out on top of. Girlfriend 8, secured. Oh, also, here's a quick recap of Mado's origins via Rentaro.
闇金漬けの DV 両親に捨てられて頼れる人もなく路頭に迷い行き倒れてしまうような過去がメイさんにあったなんて
Thanks, Rentaro. While the girls were off on their weight loss journeys to recover from the eating contest, KazuTwo, the captain and only member of the baseball team, was recruiting new members so the club wasn't disbanded. You know, that old trope. So that's when Rentaro went up to talk to her, and what do you know? Another soulmate had been found. Soon enough, her darkness tier masochism was revealed to Rentaro, who spent the whole rest of his day helping her out with advertising for the club, I think. Anyway, the next day had been coming to a close, and that's when Iku proposed her confession of love to Rentaro. Cut to that rooftop, baby, because we've got our 9th girlfriend! And also, coincidentally, our 8 required members of the baseball team. Well, actually, there's 3 missing spots, but 2-week training montage time. Okay, finally, their baseball game was upon them against Jurassic High School. During the game, Shizuka, being the weakest, most shy, and most impressionable one on the opposing team, was unfortunately Jurassic's target for bullying. Little did they know that tactic would work in the reverse of their favor. Yes, in fact, the other members unlocked Super Saiyan spite because of this. And thus, they came back from a ridiculous deficit. Also, Iku had to relive her PTSD of hitting a home run and accidentally injuring a crowd member. Thankfully, with the final pitch, the final Iku was able to steel herself and go all out thanks to Rentaro promising to catch it, and making good on that promise, our resident Chad stopped the baseball equivalent of a meteorite. No, like seriously, this thing caught fire and even had impact frames on Rentaro's catch. Yeah. And with that final swing and subsequent catch, the game was decided. Not only had they won, but Rentaro had directly helped Iku overcome her trauma. As a reward, Rentaro received a first kiss from her who said that 3-word killer move. Then they had some barbecue with the other school, which, I don't know, I'm not convinced one of these girls isn't a girlfriend. I don't know, I'm just saying, we didn't see anyone locking eyes with Rentaro in this room. After that, during one of their weekends, the whole Rentaro family went out for karaoke. In the booth, Kusuri laced their drinks with a cuteness susceptibility drug. Paired with Shizuka's absolutely adorable singing, they all passed out from cuteness overload. Though, so as not to hurt poor Shizuka, who worked up the confidence to sing in front of the whole family, Rentaro steeled himself, got back up, and performed a duet with her, absolutely making this one of the best nights of her life. And everyone else's, of course. Another day off, probably the very next day, was the rare sight of a lone Rentaro. Seriously, I don't know how he has time for himself nowadays. You'd think at least one of the girls would tag along. But he was here to scout out another date. However, that's when he ran into the narcissistic, beauty-obsessed Utsukushigi Mimimi. Yet another soulmate! Will the girlfriend pacing of the season ever slow down? Mimimi, while she might seem like a rich girl, is not. She works her ass off with all of her free time and saves up her yen to spend it on enhancing her beauty. Whether that be from lipstick, makeup, outfits, or even books tutorialing how to speak classier. Paired with her diligence to keeping to a specific routine, she turns heads wherever she goes. They were already at the mall, so they decided it was the perfect time for a date. They went clothes shopping, then got some boba tea, Rentaro saved her from being splashed with tea, he saved the perpetrator from soiling his outfit, and finally Mimimi, after witnessing all of this, wholeheartedly confessed her love. Girlfriend number 10, get. But then, the one who humiliated her to her very core during a middle school beauty contest, the one girl more beautiful than her, in AI, Nano, had just showed up, and was soon revealed to be part of this newfound family she'd just joined. In that beauty contest backstory, Nano denied her request for a future friendship and healthy competition going forward, denoting friendship as meaningless. Which, if anything, truly shows how far Nano's come. Also, the reason Nano was even in such an inefficient thing as a beauty contest was because Mimimi secretly entered her because she admired her so much, and wanted to become friends with her that badly. Eventually though, they competed to determine who would leave the family, spurred on by Mimimi's misgivings. Though due to Rentaro's self-sacrifice and furthermore Nano's apology and request to start over between them as friends, nobody had to leave and they all went on to kiss Rentaro a ridiculous amount of times thanks to an aphrodisiac lipstick. And with that final kiss to Mimimi, she had officially joined the family as the 10th girlfriend. To aid in Rentaro's hair restoration after that self-sacrifice, Kusuri developed another drug, which, of course, got way out of control and threatened to end humanity. That's 2 times now. That might be more than 2. I don't remember, but this girl is a walking apocalypse. Anyway, Hahari drank the entirety of the hair growth vial, which for 1, made her hair grow seemingly infinitely, and for 2, made her lose control of all thought aside from primal urges, meaning, yes, much tentacle, or rather, hair hentai. But in any case, the hair spread far and wide, but this wasn't to catch Pokemon, no. This was to envelop the world in love. Thankfully, Rentaro, being the last survivor, dove into the heart of the storm, where he kissed Hahari and brought her back like the prince to Sleeping Beauty. Then she burned up all of her hair in the sun, preventing the next ice age or something. Of course, she became depressed because of this catastrophic event caused by her presumptuous actions. I will actually excuse Hahari for this one because she wasn't there for the kiss apocalypse, so she understandably wouldn't have understood the insanity Kusuri can summon. And with that being said, Kusuri, what the hell? Why even bring this much of the hair growth drug, you crazy lolly? Of course though, the Rentaro family comforted her and lifted her out of the slump. Next up, another day passed where Rentaro somehow had been caught walking home alone. Apparently this happens more than I realized. Before he even made it off the school grounds though, a seriously intense, I mean this is hurricane level shit, gust of wind blew by, forcing a nearby sign to almost slam into a girl by the name of Kakure Meme. Luckily, Rentaro dove in to save her, revealing a first for the anime. That's all too familiar zing, but only for Rentaro's eyes to see. Yes indeed, for us that zing text box unfortunately covered her eyes, followed by Rentaro calling her cute, and that's when she began avoiding our protagonist with misdirection, a la throwing a plushie in one direction while she scurries off to hide. Oh, is this how substitution jutsu works in Naruto? But yes, this extremely shy girl has a peculiar habit of dashing from the scene as soon as she's embarrassed, likely stemming from her past bullying and teasing for her voluptuous body and pretty face. Notes the bangs. During Kakure and Rentaro's game of cat and mouse, she eventually worked herself up to confess her feelings of love to Rentaro, who began avoiding the boy afterward, and soon after finding the hidden away Meme, he confessed his love to her as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves number 11! After which, as these things usually go, to acclimate Meme into the girlfriend group, they began an activity the new blood would excel at. This time it was hide and seek. To hide, Mei and Iku participated in some masochistic chimneying. Hakari and Karane hid in the exact same vaulting box where things got a little steamy. The 2 seniors fell asleep in a closet. Nano and Shizuka hid in a very large library box. Kurumi started nursing Haru in the cafeteria, and Kakure was inside the vice principal's hair. Ugh. Wait a minute, guys. The vice principal has opaque sunglasses. Don't tell me she's also a soulmate. I'm telling you, I'm calling that right now. As a reward for winning that game of hide and seek, Rentaro kissed Meme behind the group to avoid embarrassment. And finally, 100 Girlfriend Season 2 ended on a Karane-focused 2-parter. In these episodes, Kusuri, as always, left out some medicine, to be specific, the desundereified drug. So Karane took it and expelled all of her tsunderes. Yeah, that's the official name for them in the show. I frickin' love this anime. Karane had once again become insecure. This time, not regarding her chest size, but her tsundere nature. Over the course of the show, her inability to express her feelings naturally like everyone else, especially towards the one she loves, Rentaro, or even regarding her tsundere-ness inhibiting her ability to indulge in simple hobbies like crocheting with their new member, caused her saddening grief. It wasn't long before the group started to miss the old Karane though. Karane was initially against the idea of trying to turn back, but upon Rentaro expressing he fell in love with the tsundere Karane, and if she wanted to change into this version because she hated who she was, he wouldn't accept it, Karane soon came around to desiring the switchback as well. After a night at the Hanazono's, Hakari and Rentaro had devised a plan. First, they all took Kusuri's desunderifying drug, channeled all of their latent tsunderes into Rentaro, who spirit-bombed Karane with those tsunderes, and finally brought her back and they kissed. Then they all confessed and expressed their love and reasons for loving Rentaro, and of course he retorted with a 100-fold volley of compliments back to every single one of them. And there we have it, the 100 Girlfriends recap all finished. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Comment any thoughts you have on 100 Girlfriends Season 2 if you like my recap. Or if there's anything you want to tell me that I missed or should have included or whatever, anything like that. Just let me know down in the comments below. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and don't forget to stay trash. Peace.